Welcome back inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, everybody. It is Friday. It is Friday morning, and that means it is time for 4 downs. It is time for bold predictions, for the offensive player of the game prediction, the defensive player of the game prediction. Don't even know how we're going to give that one out because it's the Iowa offense. I told you guys I wasn't going to be nice. It is time for score predictions. Let's dive in, fellas. I'm very excited to get to this one. Matt, you need a bold prediction, and you need it now.
I feel real good about this one, Tim.
I know you do.
I feel really good about this one. You ready?
I'm ready, baby.
The Ohio State defense will score more points than the Iowa offense.
Wow. You just leave it at that.
I
Drop
mean,
the mic.
No explanation needed.
Is there an explanation that's needed?
No.
Look at the total offense statistic on ncaa.org.
Yeah.
That's it.
Listen to Spencer Holberg, folks. But
that's a great bold prediction.
I feel very solid about that one. And it doesn't matter if it's a scoop and score by someone in the front seven, your guy Lathan Ransom with a nice pick six. Who's to say?
I like Ronnie Hickman too, man.
Yeah,
I like Ronnie Hickman in this one.
I won't be that bold by saying who and what and how not, but Ohio State's defense will score more points than the Iowa Hawkeyes offense.
Ohio State's offense will score more points than Ohio State's defense. That's my bold prediction.
Oh, no.
Yikes.
Stinky. Give us a real one.
I've been talking all along about my analogy of cracking a safe, picking a lock. This Ohio State offense is well designed to pick this lock that is Phil Parker's defense, because like I have Urban Meyer on my Urban's Take this week, and he was pointing out this is a sound Iowa defense, but they don't seem to have quite those super athletic guys in the secondary like they've had in recent past. So I see this wide receiver core. If it includes Jackson Smith and Jigba, that will be a bonus. But this wide receiver core could have a hell of a day against Iowa on Saturday. So I see C.J. Stroud throwing for another 300 plus and throwing for another 4+ touchdowns. That's my bold prediction.
I would say, Tim, that probably puts him back at the top of the Heisman conversation. For sure. Before I get started, I want to make sure if somebody can possibly make me going like this into a GIF, send it to me, please. Please. My bold prediction is exactly what you all probably think it is. This Iowa
Tennessee's going to. Oh, go ahead.
This Iowa offense is so bad. It's so bad, and usually the Iowa offense can at least run the ball. Tim.
But what if I told you about picking shutout?
I'm not picking a shutout.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
You put words in my mouth again, okay. Tim. I'm telling you.
You said people could see it coming. That's what I saw coming.
Oh, but usually they can at least run the ball. They can't even run the ball.
No.
All right. Iowa. I'm sorry, Iowa.
Go ahead and get to your point, man.
I think Iowa's going to have less than 75 total yards of offense. Wow. Iowa could not move the ball on an FCS program to begin the year. Iowa could not move the ball on Michigan in the middle of the year. I think this Ohio State defense is as good as Michigan's defense. I think it is as sound fundamentally. I don't think there's going to be anywhere to run. I don't trust any of these playmakers. I like Sam Laporta as a tight end, but I don't think he's going to be open because there's no one else to worry about defending. Where do you possibly find yards if you're Iowa? You're going to score maybe 3 points, maybe 10 points on short fields if something crazy happens because this Iowa defense is opportunistic.
Are you asking me these questions?
No, I'm just saying.
I'm part of the choir here.
Where do you find yards? And the answer is you don't. Okay. 75 yards or less. Sorry, Iowa.
Wow.
Matt, offensive player of the game.
I thought I was bold, but that's bold here, and you're in the locker room.
Absolutely.
Right down over that way.
Who's to stop me?
Yeah,
offensive player of the game, Matthew.
I've given this a little bit of thought, and I'm going to go with, I still haven't picked which one, but I guess I'm going to have to do it right now, right?
Yes.
I'm going to go with Cade Stover.
Okay.
I think Ohio State has heard...
No, I see what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I think Ohio State has heard a lot of the noise about how this Iowa defense is going to be, their first real big test, their physical defense. They may not be as athletic as some of the defenses that Ohio State has gone up against, but you can't match athleticism with talent necessarily, right? And so I think you're going to need to be physical, especially coming off a bye week. You're going back to Ohio Stadium for the first time since Rutgers, October 1st. And that's a guy that brings the juice both physically and athletically. We've seen Cade Stover make plays in spaces across the middle. That's a guy that's going to set the tone, set the edge on the line of scrimmage when Ohio State wants to run their outside zone. I'm going to go with Cade Stover, offensive MVP.
I think he would like an analogy. He's the one guy that brings the truckload of hay. You know what
Sure.
I mean? I think he would like that analogy better than brings the juice. I'm just throwing that. And the other thing is,
If
like
he
you left
watches
out,
this, I'll be real shocked.
Is we keep talking about Iowa's tight end like he's going to be the salvation, and we're, for people forgetting about this renaissance for tight ends at Ohio State, which is Cade Stover's play this. I don't put it past Ryan Day from calling some plays in that regard, if you follow my drift.
Yeah.
Because this has been as well balanced a play calling from the standpoint of getting people involved in this offense as I can remember.
Not only balanced, but creatively balanced.
Creatively
too. There's
balanced.
new play
Yes.
designs every single week.
Yeah. Now, with that said, guys, I'm telling you, I'm looking at this Iowa defense, and I'm trying to figure out how they're going to take away 3 receivers, much less 4. I see Marvin Harrison Jr. having, again, many opportunities on Saturday because he is the guy that can turn a 50-50 ball into an 80-20 ball.
Yep.
And I'm going, again, with Marvin Harrison Jr. to be the player of the game offensively. I'm not going to give a bold prediction because we don't have to do that right on numbers, but I could see him having another 3-touchdown catch game on Saturday.
Tim, every great player.
Is that the guy you were going to pick?
No. I thought about
Every
it.
player has a great former coach.
No, I thought about it a little bit, picking Marvin Harrison Jr., but you made my decision much easier in the moment here. Every great player who stumbles a little bit needs another breakout, and this is the perfect chance for TreVeyon Henderson to re-announce himself as one of the premier running backs in the country. All of the attention right now in the Big Ten is not only on, a Nicholas Singleton from Penn State, but really squarely on midseason All-American Blake Corum. I'm here to remind everybody, and I think TreVeyon Henderson is going to be here to remind everybody on Saturday, this is a damn good Iowa defense, and TreVeyon Henderson does not care. I think Ohio State is going to establish the run to prove a point, because every time they face a defense where people say this is going to be a challenge, Ryan Day loves establishing the run. TreVeyon Henderson is going to run wild in this game, and he's going to prove a point
Because
that there's a chance to still become the first team running back in the Big Ten. He's very, very good, and I think he's going to have his breakout. He's the offensive player of the game.
But obviously he's not going to run around out there all by himself. I mean, this offensive line is primed. I'm telling you, they're primed for this challenge. And that's what has to happen for TreVeyon Henderson to have that big game. There's got to be somewhere to run.
Yep.
So I would agree with you on that one.
Matt, we're going to go defensive player of the game, even though just do it. Just do it.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't need all that.
I'll continue with my continuation, if you will. The bye week bold
Begin to
predictions.
begin. Go ahead.
Exactly. The bye week bold prediction I had was that Mike Hall was going to pass Tommy Eichenberg for tackles.
Yeah.
That was pretty bold.
Yeah,
that was locker room bold, if you will.
Sure.
That was the old saying. What they say? Shoot for the sky and you'll hit a bird. Shoot for the heavens and you'll hit the moon.
Well, if
You didn't even hit the moon.
No,
Go ahead now.
but if that turns out right, I'm buying a scratch off.
Wow. Yeah.
Anyway, in that same breath, I'm going to say Mike Hall. I don't think a single person that's going to be wearing the white, black, and gold on Saturday is going to be able to stop him, pending he's healthy, pending he's available. I really don't have much more to say other than good luck, Iowa offensive line.
Okay, I'm sticking in that same general area. I'm going with JT Tuimoloau. I think he's going to have a hell of a game because obviously teams have done a great job. He's done a great job of demanding double team blocks a lot. I think this week he splits some of those. I think he just gets after it. This is not the Iowa offensive line of even last year, much less of years ago. I think JT Tuimoloau has a hell of a game, and that might be 1 or 2 sacks, and it might be 2 or 3 TFLs, but it will be from his spot, it will be a dominant performance no matter how you judge it. That's my bold prediction for the defense. Spencer?
I'm going to do it. All right. Lathan
You're just
Ransom.
making these up as you go. You haven't really thought about this.
I have not. I've given zero thought to this because I have much more fun doing it on the fly.
Yeah, no, I'm just messing.
So you get a
with
deep
I
breath
can tell
in.
how you're taking it slow.
Get a deep breath in here. Take it slow a little bit
Why did
there.
I make myself go third? Why
Bold
can't I go
prediction
first?
here. Yeah, I do, Tim. I make it up on the fly, but it also allows me to have a little bit of emotion when I do it. You know, to be able to think about it in the moment
Yes.
and really come up with something rather than overthink it.
It's guttural.
I'm on the Underthink Express yet again for this show. Lathan Ransom has to be the player of the game defensively if Ohio State's going to truly shut down Iowa, because he's going to be defending Sam Laporta the same way he was tasked with defending Michael Mayer. And if Lathan Ransom shuts down Sam Laporta the way he did Michael Mayer and limits him, Notre Dame was a better offense and scored 10 points. Iowa's not getting 10 points if Lathan Ransom's playing his best football. I know for fact from people in this building, the best players are beginning to truly play. They rotated a lot of guys those first few games. I'm here to tell you, Lathan Ransom is absolutely one of those 10 best players. The oil and water have not
that was the
mixed
cream
anymore.
rising to the top.
Yeah, or the oil rising from the water. You know, it's go time for this team. Lathan Ransom's one of the best players on the field. He's one of the best 11. He'll be out there defending Sam Laporta, and if he's half as good as I think he's going to be on Saturday, Ohio State could very well pitch a shutout, even though that's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Laporta,
No, that's how you threw that in there, though.
yeah, Laporta's the only weapon on this team, on this Iowa offense, and you know, a little bit of credit to Jim Lachey's son, Luke Lachey. I think he's a decent player, but he's still developing. Laporta's the guy. Lathan Ransom's going to have his hands full, but he also is up for the challenge. He's going to be the defensive player of the game. Now we go into score predictions. My favorite thing we've done all year.
Pretty cut and dry and simple here. I think Iowa's defense will get theirs throughout the game just because it is a talented defense. However, it's not going to be a whole lot of fun for all of those going back to Iowa City. So I'm going to say Ohio State wins this one 45-3. Somehow Iowa gets a chip shot on the board.
Yeah. The spread, as we talk right now, is 29 points, right? 29.5. What's the over-under?
I just saw it earlier today.
62, I believe,
62.
something in that realm.
Yeah.
29 from 62 is what?
I don't know.
33?
And you're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah, and you divide that by
Guys.
2.
Guys, yeah.
I'm the wrong
Yeah,
guy.
So they've got Iowa basically scoring 15 or 16 points. I can see that, and I can see
Yeah,
Ohio State.
I call rubbish.
I can see Ohio State scoring big time in this game because this Iowa defense, no matter how good you are, how sound you are, if you're playing a hell of a lot more than the other defense, you're going to pay the price. C.J. Stroud and company will figure out a way, like I said, to pick this lock one way or the other as the game goes on. Maybe immediately. They have some plays they can run against anything. This offense does, obviously. But I could see Ohio State in the 40s to Iowa's. Man, I'm giving them 16 points, and I have a hard time even thinking that they're going to score 16 points in this game.
Yeah, I don't
That
think
would be 3 field goals. That means they got close enough to kick field goals. I think the Ohio State defense comes of age in this game, and I think, like you said, there's a great possibility of a shutout in this game. But let's give Iowa 9 points. Let's go with Ohio State 49, Iowa 9.
I do respect Iowa's defense. I want to make that clear.
I do
They
too.
did a good job against a really talented Michigan offense. They've done a good job defensively against other teams. I just don't see anything here that makes this a good, fun game for anybody involved.
Well, wait, let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you. This guy said that Ohio State's defense is going to outscore Iowa's offense too.
Yeah.
Hence the 3
Yeah.
on my end there.
I am going to go. So I think Iowa will get some field goal stops, make Ohio State kick a few field goals, because I think this Iowa defense is good. I do. Maybe a couple field goals, especially late. You know, Ohio State can still move the ball, but kick a field goal. I'm going to go Ohio State 47, because I think there's 4 field goals in there and 5 touchdowns. Iowa 6. I'm going to give them 2 short fields.
3-6-9. Now you got it.
It's
Yeah. This is our last video before the game, right? I mean,
absolutely
right?
it is, Tim.
I mean, this game has all the makings of being the remember the scar game. I mean, when Ryan Day used that term to describe how getting beat 55-24 by Iowa in 2017, the last time these 2 Big Ten teams played. I mean, that's crazy when you think about that. 5 years since they played, and Iowa waxed them 55-24. It is in Ryan Day's soul how much that hurt. I mean, when he brings up the word scar, this left one on him, because obviously the first play of the game where you saw something wasn't right was when his quarterback, he was the quarterback coach then, throws a pick six. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He hadn't thrown a pick six all year. I don't think he'd thrown an interception up to that game. Maybe I'm wrong for J.T. Barrett. But the bottom line is this game means something to Ryan Day. I mean, and he's gotten it across to his team. You know, you've talked to these players today, you've talked to the coaches. Ryan Day has brought it up to them. 55-24, don't forget it. Stuff can happen if your mind isn't right. 55-24, the Scar game.
Scratch my score prediction. It's going to be 59-3.
Wow.
You just talked me into it, Tim. Ryan Day has not forgotten this. And maybe I just forgot that Ryan Day hasn't forgotten, but Ryan Day is not going to let up, and Ryan Day is not going to mess around. He sees Kirk Ferentz on the other sideline, and he locks in on him and says, I remember 55-24. I was there. He remembers. Ohio State remembers. And folks, I'm here to tell you, look what he does to Mike Locksley every year. When Ryan Day wants to prove a point, Ryan Day proves a point. It's going to be 59-3. And that's where we log off of this show. That's the 40-year vet, Tim May. That's Matt Parker. A fine show, gentlemen. We had a really good time. I'm hoping everyone else had a good time watching this. You can have a good time in the Lettermen Lounge, the message board, and across the lettermenrow.com for $1 for the entire year. Heck of a deal, in my opinion. Recruiting coverage, experienced Ohio State coverage, a little bit of a newer twist on my coverage that I'd like to think. You can do all of that for a year for just $1 right now at lettermenrow.com. That's a great deal. But again, 40-year vet Tim May, recruiting ace, photographer extraordinaire Matt Parker, Spencer Holbrook. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys in the Horseshoe for Ohio State, Iowa, Saturday at noon.